Alright, so I'm going to do a quick little towing test on this Farmall Cub with the electric motor. I got a big round bale. I'm just going to drop it in the back of the trailer. We're going to see how it goes. This is a pretty easy test for this machine. The round bale is probably 1,500 pounds. Let's say the trailer weighs 300 pounds. So 1,700 pounds. The Cub, Google says they weigh about, I don't know, 1,400. I took out the motor, say that weighs 300. I replaced it with 100 pounds of motor and battery. So we're minus 200 pounds from 14. We're at 1,200 pounds, 1,200 pounds, and whatever I said that was. So the weight of what we're towing is heavier than the Cub. It'll pull it fine. We gotta watch is you don't have the weight to stop it on a big hill. Does the motor produce a drag where you can engine brake? Yes, it does. I have it set with a switch where I can flip the switch and the motor will regenerative braking. It's set on a lower setting. I can bump it up to a higher setting, but right now we're not gonna go high regenerative braking. We're going to try to keep it on flat ground just to see what the towing capability is. The brakes are good. I'm going to avoid downhills. I'm going to avoid real steep uphills. If you know how to tractor drive, you know what it's like when you have a big heavy implement on the back and you go down a hill and your brakes lock up and you're just along for the ride skidding down the hill. We want to avoid that today. But we'll see how the regenerative braking does on a light hill. And we'll see how it pulls. It should pull it fine. I don't have any doubts of this system. We're going to load that big round bale on the back and we'll see what it does. Yeah, I can tell it's kind of heavy because it's hard to steer this tractor. Power steering isn't great at idle on this thing. You kind of have to rev it up a little bit to get it to steer better. It's just an old tractor, that's how they do. You get worn and then you just work with what you got. It's been a good old Ford, this 7700. Yeah, I know I overshot, I was lining it up. To the front so we're not pulling up on the hitch. If the weight's in the back, it pulls up on the hitch, takes weights off the rear wheels. If the weight's towards the front, it put weights on the hitch and then you get more traction and it's a safer load. And I got better engine braking or better braking capabilities if this is towards the front. I can't see how far forward I am, but we're definitely past the center of the front axle, so we'll back off and we'll park this and get back to the Cub. Air conditioning works great in this tractor, by the way. I'm not being, it's that tractor will freeze you out on a cool day. We're about perfect on the load. We're past the front axle. We got the hitch loaded up. I made this hitch, by the way. I didn't have a drawbar for this tractor, so I just angle ironed that hitch and it's pretty stout. Alright, so here we go. Let's see what it does. I'm going to start in second. I think low first is really low. It's a 3-speed. We'll release the brake. Make sure that's not dragging. Okay. So we got first, second, third, and reverse. I'm just going to start in second because first is pretty low. So let's see what it does. My Bluetooth is having trouble connecting to the motor controller. But Anyway. Alright, here we go. We're powered up. It pulls it like it's not even there. Like you can't feel it because the torque of the electric motor is so strong off the line that it doesn't act like it bogs down. Even though it's working a little harder, you don't feel it working harder, which is something you have to get used to with electric because you got the full power potential right off 0 RPM. So the rotor is at 1,200 and we're just kind of off the throttle a little bit. We're not full throttle. There's a little hill over here. We're going to go down and we're going to check the engine braking. It'll be better in first gear going downhill. I'm not as scared of it, so I'm going to do second gear, and I think we can check the engine braking system. Like I said, I don't have the high braking system turned on. I just have the low braking system, but the video's probably shit because I wasn't watching the camera. So here's a little hill. We're coasting. Engine brake on. Engine brake off. No throttle. We're just coasting. It's speeding up. It's speeding up. There's 0 amps on the system. 1500 engine braking. That works pretty good. I can tune it to engine brake as soon as I let off the throttle, and then on the throttle it goes again, but I like to be able to coast a little bit. As I've been doing this for a while, there's some benefits to coasting. And as you work that engine, the motor, and you engine brake, you're putting the energy back into the battery. So you're using the motor as a generator, and it goes to the motor controller, and it goes back to the battery. And then when you power the motor, it goes to the engine, the motor controller, and then to the motor. So that back and forth of energy is going to make heat. So I got to watch the temperatures if I'm working it hard. I haven't worked it hard enough to worry about it yet. However, it's something to keep in mind when I do start getting more and more aggressive with the towing of this thing. We're in second gear and I'm not full throttle. If I can find a place to set this camera up, we can get an external shot of this thing. Let's stop it here, and I'm going to put it in third gear and see how it pulls in third gear. Okay, we're cresting the hill, engine braking on. It's not as aggressive in third gear, but it will slow it down. Engine braking off. And it stutters a little bit sometimes when it starts because the rotor in the motor is in between poles, so it bounces back and forth until it realizes which way it's got to go. That's just a thing that happens on those brushless DC motors. So I feel pretty confident in the engine braking system. I haven't tried the high braking system, but I don't know if I'd need that unless I'm pulling something really heavy on a hill. And this is about a safe limit for the weight of the tractor. I'm going to put it in second, turn around, and try to set the camera up. So we're in second gear now. There's a little hill here. I can find a tree to set this camera up on. I don't have my tripod today. I don't have a good spot to leave the camera. I can put it on the tractor. I have a mount there. So let's do that, and I'll get some external views of what we're doing here. One more shot going up the hill from the tractor driver perspective. I might even stop on the hill and then try to get a start from the hill from 0 RPM. So we're going up the hill, starting to incline a little bit more. I'm not on the throttle very much. We're at 2,000 RPM about. I have the motor limited at 2,500. I've bumped it up and it'll do about 10 mile an hour in road gear. A little more maybe. So anyway, I let off the throttle. We're stopped. Can I start from a mild rollback? Oh yeah, it's fine. A little bit of rollback. Spin the tires and we pull uphill. Let's get a shot at tire spin action. It's torquey. That's all I'm saying. And I'm barely on the throttle going up that hill. So I'm going to bring the tractor over, set up the camera, and we'll get some shots of that. Park it over. There's a monarch. Oh, hey baby. Headed into Mexico, maybe. Alright, turn this off. It can tow, it can stop. That's a pretty good test for today. I gotta go mind the farm. So I'll move this round bale back to where it was and go park the little Cub for now. What the battery charge is, I don't know. I probably started with a 90% charge. Let me pull up my app and we'll see where the battery's at. Actually, I got a battery indicator. That's not correct, but if I had to guess, we're probably 80 charge, but let's see. We're at 80% charge on the app from the battery. The battery has an app on the phone. The phone tells me the readout of the battery indications, temperature, balance, and charge, voltage, all the good stuff. The motor isn't really hot. I can tell it's warm, but it's not hot. The motor controller, it's a little warm, but it's not hot. So this is a pretty good limit for where I'd normally run this for work. If it was heavier, we'd have to watch the temperatures, but this is safe. Anything heavier than this, not so much safe on a Cub. So even a regular Cub, it can do this. It wouldn't. This is about the limit of where you want to run a Cub on a hill. So anyway, there we are. Hope you enjoyed it. Found it interesting. See what it can do. It's not a gimmick. It's not just for novelty. It works, okay? So that's all I'm saying. Does it make it less appealing because it doesn't make pretty noise? I find it more appealing because it doesn't make noise. And you have to drive it to feel what you have under your foot when you hit the throttle, and it's really like it's addicting is all I'm saying. Yes, I like my gasoline Cub. It's very cute and it's very put. And it has a Farmall 4-cylinder low. It's really, I like the gas engine. I got another gas Cub and I like it. However, it's a pain in the butt to start with the 6-volt system, especially in the winter time. So my goal for this Cub is to pull the ground driven spreader. When I get the hay off the other field, I'll get the ground driven spreader and we'll put a load on it, make sure it can pull the ground driven spreader without getting too hot, and we'll see how much manure we can spread on a battery charge or how effective it is on a manure spreader. I can even show you how to calibrate a manure spreader. You put a tarp down, you run it over, you pull the manure out, you weigh it, you find out what area your tarp is, you find out what the area per ton is, and then you get tons per acre. Anyway, that's all for today.